The hunt is on. There's no going back now. It's in your blood. A primal need that must be met. It drives you. It consumes you. It takes you to the edge. What was once a simple pastime has now become your addiction. This is Lone Wolf's Whitetail Addictions. This season, come share the excitement with a group of fellow whitetail addicts from Lone Wolf. Learn from their time-tested techniques as well as their mistakes, and be there to experience firsthand the highs and the lows we've all come to thrive on. They are do-it-yourselfers just like you. Their season begins the moment the last one ends. And when it comes time to release an arrow, they come up big. This week on Lone Wolf's Whitetail Addictions, we're going to introduce you to the Lone Wolf himself, Andrae D'Acquisto. Andrae has made a career out of harvesting mature whitetails with a bow and designing tree stands that meet his own personal demands for perfection. He knows what it takes to put big bucks on the wall consistently, and his results speak for themselves.
I grew up in a big city. I mean, not big city as far as the nation, but, you know, Milwaukee. And you could get down in areas of Milwaukee River, Esterbrook Park. There were deer down there, wildlife. It was like you're in the middle of, you know, and a kid that was 5 to 8 years old running that. I mean, I thought it was Mark Twain running the river, you know. Always had that passion for wildlife and that solitude. I was always a pretty good hunter, probably a little better than my friends, but they were better shots. And I'd see this, they'd get ticked because I'd get more opportunities, and then I'd keep blowing it, you know, I'd miss them. I'd get a shot and I'd miss them, and they wouldn't get the shots. Well, I'd get into that brush and I'd go and I'd be like a, you know, a coonhound in there, and I'd make those opportunities, but I didn't have the tools to get it done. I got into trapping. That was the bug that bit me, and it was just, I mean, before school, after football. My girlfriend was carrying, my girlfriend was now my wife, was carrying muskrats on a game bag while I was working traps. She skinned them with me. Everything still revolved around the outdoors. And matter of fact, in my yearbook, you know, I put in there that I wanted to become a bigger legend than Danny Boone trapping the wilds, because it was trapping. For some reason, why, again, nobody steered me toward it. I just decided to bow hunt for whitetail. Went up north, camped for a weekend, took my girlfriend with recurve, had her doing small pushes to me, and I mean, I had the most fun, and it was just an experience that you can't describe. I hung those traps up and never touched one ever again. And I mean, I was addicted to trapping, heavy. From then on, deer with a recurve, chasing them around on the ground, started climbing up in trees. That was my first exposure to some products. Some older guys, always hung around with a little bit older guys, and they showed me what they were doing. They were actually hunting with the Baker tree stand back then. And so yeah, you can buy these at these archery specialist shops. And I went and I stepped up and went about 2 feet off the ground, and it just felt like this thing was ready to bust loose, and I just wouldn't hunt out of it. So I basically designed my own, made a platform, hunted with it a year. The off season, I had nothing else to do, so I'd perfect that stand, make some changes. And the stand evolved over the years, and my hobby, which was building tree stands and redesigning them, turned into a business. You know, pretty soon I had order for 25 stands, turned into 50. Before you know it, we got into this business that we're at today. That really was the way it was. This whitetail hunting became, you know, we talk about addictions. It was getting bad, and I knew I had a problem. I mean, I had to be out there all the time. My entire life just revolved around it. Now I think it's turned full circle. I realized I had that, and it wasn't going to go away. So I kind of, now I'm driving that addiction, and I'm directing it where I want it to go, and that's where that business started. You know, if I didn't have a business that related around hunting, I probably would have been divorced, been a wreck, looking for work, you know.
Here's this week's whitetail hunting tactic with Adam Hayes.
If you want to get a look at the biggest bucks in your hunting area, here's some helpful information. Whether you're scouting for bucks during the summer or planning a trip for the upcoming season, there are a handful of days each month you should be well aware of. Every day the moon peaks in the sky at a different time. When it's in this position is when it's the closest to the earth and has the most gravitational pull. This is what triggers the tides and also what triggers wild animals to get up and feed. The key is knowing what days each month that this happens during prime time in the morning or evening hours. These are by far the best days to catch a mature buck on his feet during daylight hours. This is especially true early season when bucks are on a strict feeding pattern. Fortunately, there's a helpful guide available to let you know exactly when these days occur, and it's Jeff Murray's Moon Guide. I've personally followed this guide for the last 10 years, and I won't go a single season without one.
After finding some monster sheds on his property late in the year, then getting a cutty-back trail camera picture of the same buck the following season, Andrae D'Acquisto sets out in hopes of breaking his own #2 Wisconsin state record. On the evening of November 9th, Andrae quietly slipped into his alpha hang-on stand that he had positioned between his food plot and the part of the swamp he believed the big buck was bedding in.
This deer was on this field, sighted 6 times by my brother last year, 3 times by a friend of mine. I was in Illinois hunting pretty heavy and chasing some good ones around there, and I kept hearing about this boone or crockett they said was running around here. They said it was over 170. I came back for the opening day of our gun season. We can bow hunt during gun season, so I decided to take up the chase of that deer. Seeing Illinois was closed. From all the sightings that they told me about, I figured I know the swamp at the back of my hand. I figured I knew what he was doing. And down on post, I had that deer come through at 40 yards, just one trail out with the high cattails and that. It was just too long of a poke. So I let him go out. He was out with plenty of light and running the neighbor's property, and I was worried about him getting shot by a shotgun hunter. Sat in that same stand. Next morning, that deer came right through that same back trail and went back into bed. So I thought I'd get a little aggressive, took my stand, dove into the swamp, set up on him. Like always, I pushed the envelope. You got it, you're running out of time. And that deer cracked me on the way out the next evening. And then he started playing the game. And in the area he was, there's not a lot of trees, it's all brush and red brush. It was going to be a tough nut, so didn't see him anymore after that. Came back later in the year looking for sheds. Was lucky enough to find both halves of that deer's sheds. I put him at 175 on the hoof. The shed scored out at 174. He made it through gun season. I was excited about him being back. A deer in this neck of the woods at that age class could put on 15-20 inches easily in a year. So just formula a game plan. This next year here, I got a picture on a trail camera of that deer, October 20th, and I was just fired up because I knew he could be a potential state record of that deer of that caliber and putting on a few inches. Looking at the picture, we couldn't tell how long the tines were. We figured he's close. He's got to be in the mid-180s. Bounced around, hunted like a frickin' banshee all October, beginning of November, nothing. No sightings, no spotting. His sign was there along the same route that he had taken last year. Big prints, big rubs, but no sightings. I wandered off. I seen 9 different shooter bucks in that time. Passed up a lot of good animals, but I knew there'd be nothing. I'd settle for with that deer, and I'd eat my tag before I'd shoot anything else. Everything kept bringing me back to this main field. I kept hunting this field. I'd see nice shooter bucks, different ones every time. And this was the week that he showed up last year, heavy on this field, and the game plan was just to keep bouncing around here and keep my eyes open, and I just knew he'd show up.
As the evening progressed, more than a dozen deer had made their way into the field of imperial whitetail clover. With daylight fading fast, a couple of younger bucks entered the field directly beneath Andrae's position. Then, with only moments of camera light left, Andrae hears the unmistakable sound of a mature deer approaching. As the monster 12-point steps into view, Andrae knows instantly this is the buck that has fueled his addiction for the past 9 months. As the monster 12-point steps into view, Andrae knows instantly this is the buck that has fueled his addiction for the past 9 months.
I hope the hell I got this on video. He's right down over there. Oh yes, look at the cake. Oh, look at my hands. I can't stop shaking. Not. You're just looking at the guy who just pounded the new state record, brother. Yes!
This was definitely the buck Andrae had dedicated his season to harvesting, and his trophy was down less than 30 yards from his stand.
Well, I'm back at the car. I don't know if I got that deer on video, but I just put an arrow in a buck I think is going to be a new typical state record. I arrowed him about frickin' 6 yards. He ran about 25 yards, not even 20 yards, and fell over and laid there, and I thought he was dead. I start climbing down in a tree. The son of a gets up, looks toward me, heard some other deer or something rustle in the brush, and ran back in the swamp. He's definitely hurting. I think he's off kilter. I hope I hit him in the liver or the kidneys. He'll be there in the morning, and I hope I just didn't hit him along the spine or something, and where he was just shocked for a little bit, and now he's in good shape. This will be one of the longest nights of my life. Like always, nothing comes easy. Well, hope we got him. You're just looking at the guy who just pounded a new state record, brother. Yes! This was the week that he showed up last year, heavy on this field, and the game plan was just to keep bouncing around here and keep my eyes open. I just knew he'd show up. 9th of November, he showed up. The field was loaded with does, as you can see in the video. Had about 45 minutes left of shooting. I heard a big crack in the back, swamp here. 2 does come flying out, and I knew a bruiser was coming. I didn't know it was him. Hunting that long, got a little bit depressed about it, you know, thinking just, where is this damn thing? They hit by a car, somebody else there roaming, is he dead? I looked down right here in this stand, and I seen that cage, and I look and seen that G5 out there, that little incher, and I thought, there he is. He looped in, he was going to head out into the field, stopped short. I don't know if he wanted to go back to chase those does. Had his camera and the camera arm in the way. I went to get a poke at him, and he was turning around. He's heading back in that swamp, and there was no way I was letting that happen. So I pounded him at not even 4 yards. Thing ran over there and was flopping around. I thought he was dead. I could have put another arrow on him from here. And I thought, well, he's done. Lowered my bow, and by the time I did that, the thing started moving around, got back up, and I thought, here we go again. Dove into that swamp, ran out there, and I heard them both 60 yards, and that was it. So, figured a good move would be to let him sit the morning, go look at the footage, and see if we could figure out what he did. And now I'm feeling better about it, and I think he'll be laying back there. I did find the arrow. It was a pass-through. Good sign. I was worried about maybe hitting that thing up along the spine and not really getting into some vitals. The way it looked in his bed, it looked like it was a pretty sick puppy, so that might have been his final death run there that it made into the swamp, hopefully. And hopefully we got some good blood to follow, because this tamarack swamp is as thick as it gets.
Andre's arrow had done its job, and he had no problem following the blood trail the big buck left behind as he made his final dash through the maze of cattails and red brush.
I can see the cage from here, dude. Oh my God. This is freaking unbelievable. Yes.
The monster 12-point ended up with a final score of 184 1/8 Boone and Crockett, surpassing Andre's previous #2 state record bow kill at 181 5/8, but falling just short of becoming the new #1 Wisconsin state record.
Look at the tine length on that in mass. This buck put a lot of mass on it. Tines didn't get much longer from the sheds, but it put a lot of mass on. The brow tines got a little longer. The G2s and 3s got a little longer. But one nice thing is that these G5s, they got some inching on them now, so we'll get some score on that. Not particularly wide, but good main beam length. I'm hoping we're going to sneak 27 inches out of there. But the thing is just built to score.